Welcome back to Comics on TV right here on That Hashtag Show. Now, to my left, I'm going to go right into it. I have two very special guests. One, I have Michelle Labelle, a.k.a. Harley Quinn herself.
Hey, Puddin'! How's it going?
If you've ever been to a con or anything close to it, you've seen her. You've seen her a lot of times. So, there you go. I got Harley Quinn. I got Harley Quinn. And, of course, my own personal Harley Quinn, Dianne from DefecTIVE gEEKS. Dianne, this is yours.
He thinks I'm crazy.
Well, hey, but we're crazy together. It's equal.
Exactly.
It's equal. It's something
Equal
that we have
craziness.
together. This is your third time on the show?
Yep, third time.
Congratulations, and this is your first, Michelle. So
Like
welcome.
Pop cherry.
That's what I do. That's not a good intent. But yeah. Well, we're here to talk about, the biggest thing that's happened right now since a lot, which is Suicide Squad. The movie's taking over as far as the nation itself. It's the number one movie right now as far as this weekend, box office-wise, and also, critic-wise. It's a great movie. You guys already know the whole breakdown of Suicide Squad, who's in it, what's in it, and what's happening. So we're going to talk a lot about it, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers. Just telling you right off the bat, spoiler alert, if you guys aren't ready for it.
Spoiler alert!
If you guys aren't ready for it, I'm sorry, you may want to wait and watch this after. So let's go right into it. Favorite part of the film?
Oh my goodness. Favorite part of the film, I gotta say, I mean, there's so many, but definitely when they're showing Harley's backstory, and it's the moment where she's like waltzing with the Joker in like full Alex Ross glory.
Yes.
I was in my chair, like feet kicking in the air, losing my mind in a seizure of joy for this moment, because so many people were like, oh, well, that's not the real Harley. That's not the real Harley. First of all, every Harley is the real Harley, okay? Get over yourself. It's the same person. Like, what is she, Superman? She has to have the same costume for 50 years? Like, come on, people. Just Harley.
I like that point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
But she's a girl. She wants to change her outfits once.
Exactly. I'm not going to be sitting there wearing the same thing all the time.
She has too many personalities up here to be in one outfit. Like, everybody's got to have something to wear. Like, let's keep it real.
That's a good point. And Di, favorite part?
I have to agree with her. That was my favorite part too. That was the part where I was just like,
That was like the ultimate fan service.
It was
ever.
literally just servicing to us in every way by just dropping that Alex Ross. Because there were people in the theater, and when I was watching it, they were like, I don't, what's this? What's so special? While everyone else that was like,
Right.
oh, we're geeking out, we're clapping, we're cheering, we're shouting to the heavens, and they're just sitting there like, oh, what's going on? I don't get it. I was like, it's because you shouldn't be here. That's what it felt like. It was one of those. Like, no,
You
so
don't
that was
belong
a great
here.
part. If there is such a thing, what was your least favorite part?
You can go first because I didn't say anything about it. It's gonna take a minute.
okay, so after we watched this movie, my friends and I sat down to have a drink, and we're like, so what's the most memorable part for you in this movie? And I just kind of sat there and was like, I kind of forgot most of the movie already, because it was really a character-driven movie. I felt like the story was kind of forgettable, and a lot of the scenes were forgettable, and I didn't like how the villains were handled. Like, I didn't think this was a good Suicide Squad villain. Like, don't get me wrong, I still really love the movie. But I do have a problem with the way the story went. Like, it felt like Suicide Squad in the beginning, and then at the end it felt like, oh, another thing that's shooting in the sky, like another destroying the world. Like, I felt like all the DC universe are kind of the same in the end, where it's like, oh,
is it Marvel doing that too, though?
It's true.
Okay, we could say the same thing for Avengers. I'll agree with that statement in terms of, I didn't really have issues with the villains, but I can see what you're saying of that. The whole, like, the world is gonna come to an end if we don't do something about these people.
It's a superhero trope.
It
It's
is
automatically
a superhero
what's going to
trope.
happen.
I would have preferred that they went with there's an actual, and it was very similar to an actual issue of Suicide Squad, where it's like there's a stadium where there's this thing that's being released and turns people into like zombie-like creatures, kind of how the people got turned into the soldiers.
Right.
Yeah. So that actually, I saw a lot of similarities in the way that they approached it to the actual Suicide Squad comics.
Okay.
But I feel like I didn't need the world to be ending for these people to like come out and do their thing.
Well,
yeah.
So I can sort of agree with that.
See, for me, I felt that we needed something that large, something that grand to bring them together. Because if it was just, okay, hey, we need you to do some wet work business. We need you to go ahead and take care of the mob, and we need to infiltrate this place, shoot and kill this guy, and then come back. That would have been it. It would have been like, not too special.
That's what they're for.
That's usually what they're for. Yeah, head over to Bogota and stop.
Comics,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
all covert. It's all precision, like Navy SEALs style, Green Beret style, except for they're bad guys.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna have their own way of.
I get why they did it for this movie, just because it does tie in with the whole DC movie universe. Because now I see, Batman or Superman or the Flash getting involved with the Suicide Squad.
Very true. But
if they ever want to bring them kind of all together somehow.
And that's my point. It was versus comic versus film. We have to do something even larger.
Yeah,
because it's
exactly.
on screen. And I have to hold these people's attention, which was a great thing for me. I know a lot of people said the first half, I loved, then the second half I kind of slightly forgot. I actually was watching the film and I forgot what time it was. Like, it was so good. I looked at my watch and I was like, oh my God, this movie's almost over?
Yeah.
Like,
it was,
I didn't even realize
the pace was really great.
The pacing was good.
Because I read so many critics just like ripping into it. IGN, I'm going to say this, IGN, you're idiots. You're idiots. I don't care, maybe I'm starting a flame war with you, but IGN, you're a bunch of idiots. Seriously, you let that article come out saying pretty much ruining the film, but yet it was so much better than what you guys put out.
Also,
so much better.
Rotten Tomatoes, we looking at you. Get your life
come
together.
on. Seriously, get that straight up, quick. Because the ratings and what the critics were saying for the film versus what actually happened, I don't know what version they saw.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Either.
I have no idea.
I thought the movie was very entertaining. People said that the music was overbearing. I loved the music in it. It was a fun movie.
Yep.
I thought people said the characters were underdeveloped. I thought every character had a moment. Some had longer moments than others, but every single character had a moment.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Every single one. And I thought and then there was somebody else that I read that they were like, the characters came together and bonded too quickly. They all bonded over the fact that they were trying to figure out, how do we get out of this situation? If we work together, we can somehow try to get out of this situation. I think it makes sense that they would do that. I don't have an issue with that.
I think nothing helps you bond more than trying to figure out how not to get your head blown off.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, if there's anything else that really bonds a person, it's going to be, hey, do you not want to die today? I don't want to die today. What about you? Okay, great. So let's all work together.
And figure out how to not die today.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, that was it. I got to say, for me, I guess my least favorite part, but yet still my favorite part at the same time, was the introduction and death of Slipknot. That was so good to me, because the moment when they opened the fan and here goes this guy that you guys haven't seen at all, and we're gonna bring it.
I was like, great,
he's
the sacrifice.
Yeah, he's the red shirt.
Exactly, which is a great thing on Suicide Squad. Every once in a while, when there's a story arc, at least in every story arc, someone does die. In every Suicide Squad story arc, someone does die.
Yep.
And that's how it always is. And you're always like, okay, who's it gonna be? Are they actually gonna kill off someone big, or do we get some minor character that we didn't care about and they die? Usually that's the case. It's always a red shirt. And when they opened the thing, it was like, oh great,
poor guy.
This guy.
The one guy.
His death was the best. When they were like, I'm gonna get away.
Like, it's over.
And he's like,
and he was so slammed against the glass, and I was laughing so hard. It was so good.
But it was an important plot device to show you that this is what happens if you don't follow the rules.
Exactly.
This is why we're able to control these people that are otherwise uncontrollable, because they need to see with their own eyes that we mean business. That's what that was for. And it was like, thanks, we got that out the way, moving on. You know?
Well, I like that you mentioned earlier, it's about characters. And speaking about characters, we got to talk about one that there's a whole bunch of controversy over, which is Harley Quinn.
Of course.
I don't.
So, right off the bat, How do you guys feel, one, about the whole thing where they said they over-sexualized or hyper-sexualized Harley Quinn? This is something I want to hear from you.
When was she never not sexualized? We were just talking about this before.
It's like Harley Quinn has always been a sexual character from the very beginning. I even brought my copy of Mad Love to show you. This is a woman making sexual puns in lingerie. Mad Love, the first thing, like signed by Bruce Timm. Like, I'm not even kidding you here. Like, she was always this way.
Paul Dini wrote her that way.
She's written that way. That's who she's meant to be. And the thing that bugs me about it is the implication that a woman cannot be a sexual character and also be a powerful character, because it's implying that female sexuality is weak, and there is nothing feminist about that. And I have major issue with that.
And honestly, I feel like even though she was dressed sexy in this movie, this is the only time I never really saw her use her sexuality to get her way. Like, she was using her bat to get her way. She was using her, battle, prowess to get her way. She never was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep with everybody here to get my way.
She didn't use her womanly wiles. Like, at all in the movie. I mean, there's the scene when they're showing her where she's basically in like the club. I don't know if it was like a strip club or what kind of club it is. And she's being sexy and she's being sexual. But the thing that people also miss, and I love that people are so vanilla that they don't catch all of the BDSM references.
Oh God.
And the fact that Harley Quinn is collared and she wears cuffs and her jacket says property of the Joker, that she says daddy's little monster, and that he tells her what to do and she listens, is that they have a very clear DS relationship. Is it the healthiest DS relationship? Not necessarily, but in real life, who has a perfect relationship?
Very true.
These are villainous characters. They're gonna have a dysfunctional relationship. Of course he's gonna take advantage of her and manipulate her. He's a villain. That's what villains do.
That's what.
Who are these people that get mad at villains for being villains?
It's the Joker, not your dad.
Exactly.
There you go. That's very true. And that's something that a lot of people are always like, well, I have to hold him up to a particular moral standard. Why? I thought he's a villain. His whole idea is supposed to be chaos. Why are we trying to put him into a category and put them into a category? For God's sakes, she was a clinical therapist. And then after that, broke every rule that you're supposed to follow to go ahead and be with this man that she chose to love. Oh, and then we have to talk about this also. The love situation, because a lot of people were going on with the fact that what's the best phrase I've been seeing all over the internet, which is okay, Joker loves Batman more than Harley, so why did we see that level of love in the movie? That's what a lot of people were saying.
Right.
Now, I have my own answer for that,
right,
but I want to hear, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I personally feel, I do agree with that statement that Joker loves Batman more than Harley. I completely agree with that statement. I think that's totally true. However, I think that there is such a thing called artistic interpretation.
Thank you.
Call me crazy, I don't know. But I think also when you consider that the greatest criticism that a lot of people have of the Harley Quinn character is she's just a side chick that gets slapped around by the Joker. And I think DC was trying to avoid that in this movie by giving you a slightly healthier dynamic and by making it more believable that she would be with him because he did the electroshock thing on her head, which that never happens in any version of the comics. If there was one thing that I could be slightly disgruntled about, it would be that. But even then, I understand why they did it. I am mad at them for it, and I think that, like, I'm not mad that they have a slightly more sexual Joker, and that in many ways he was almost more sexual than she was.
Ah, yes.
I have no problem
That's
with that.
true. He was climbing up on people's laps all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was a man's lap. That's what made it very interesting. I did love that.
I think that people have this mentality of the Joker in context with Batman. Everybody thinks of Joker in context with Batman. This was not Batman's Joker. This was Harley's Joker.
Exactly.
And you have to remember too that a lot of what we're seeing of the Joker is through Harley's eyes. It's through her own memory.
I was going to point this out.
And how can you really, how much of her memory can you trust? Because clearly she's going to have the most idealized version of him in her mind because she loves him.
Exactly.
So it's like, if he had been abusing her and been beating her, people would have hated that too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, this is why we can't have nice things, because if we give it to you exactly the way that it is in the comics, you would hate it and be, oh, they did nothing new with it. But if we give you something kind of new and kind of different, then you hate that too.
Yeah.
Like, make up your minds. You can't have it both ways.
That's a big worry with DC, because DC is the kind of company that automatically, DC Warner Brothers is the kind of company that automatically, depending on what people say or what they hear the most of, they'll make adjustments according to it. Like, for example, oh, I didn't like this director for a bit, blah, blah. Fine, no problem. He's on to the next project. And you're like, no, he had a vision. Follow it through. Don't say no just because of one thing. Seriously.
Don't
it
say
can
no
be
because
great.
the fans are Nazis. You know what
Exactly,
I mean?
that's the problem. I mean, people are going to hold on to it and say, well, this is exactly what we want, this is what we love, and that's what they're going to follow through with. Now, with that on its own, that becomes an issue, but I want to go into one moment that I thought you were going to mention, but you didn't.
What's that?
At the Ace Chemical Factory, Harley Quinn, Joker, him pushing her into the vat.
He didn't push her.
He didn't push her. She
chose.
Went in herself. That's very
Which
true.
is a great thing for me. Like, she chose it, even though, he was torturing her. He was...
Well, was he torturing her?
But
Because
here's
I
the
feel
thing
it was a dynamic in the
there
relationship.
There is actually, and people, there's the line of consent. Some people saying this is blurry.
Right.
But when she's laying there and he has the electroshock, and he's like, I'm just gonna hurt you real bad, and she says,
She
I
coaxes.
can take it.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
She coaxes him.
She knows what she's getting into, and she chooses that for herself. It's just like in BDSM. I choose to submit to somebody, and then when that scene before she jumps, when he's like, "Would you die for me?" No, that's easy.
That's
too
easy.
Would you live for me?
That was amazing.
And when he says to her that living for me is surrender, and in surrender there is power.
That's right.
That is the language of a dom to a sub.
That's right. Oh my God, that's so true.
That is the language of a dom to a sub.
And that's exactly
she says
what happened.
Yes, she consents to that. She knows exactly what she's getting into, and she makes that choice for herself.
And that was amazing. That was the thing. But the connection between that and the comic storyline, where it happens in the comic.
He pushes her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
no consent there.
Now, the thing is, what they chose to do was to go ahead and empower her and allow her to be able to choose and say, well, this is what you experienced and what you went through. I want to share with you. That was amazing, and that's part of the issue where a lot of fans are saying, well, once again, like you said, she's a side chick and blah, blah, yada, yada. He doesn't love her, and she's just there to get hit. One, this is a different medium than what you're used to.
Exactly.
In the comics, yes, that's how she was introduced, but yet everyone still wanted to know so much more about Harley. They wanted her to be an actual character. They didn't want her to just be a beating post. And that's what we got in this film.
Absolutely.
But besides only her, we got that from so many other characters.
Absolutely.
It was a character-driven film.
Absolutely.
And like you said, there are parts that you didn't remember, but when you really go into it, you do remember it if you start to remember the character.
Exactly.
And that's how the film did work for me.
Yeah.
I did love the film. We talked about it off screen earlier. Deadshot getting up there on top of the truck and just start handling people. My God. Seriously.
I was like, way to make a comeback, Will Smith. I'm happy for you.
It was Call of Duty. He was just going off like he had the auto. He had the auto detectors laying people out, and they're just like, wow, okay.
My partner that I went to see it with, he's an airsofter, and he had like a raging gun boner the whole time. He was like, oh my God, just guns and shooting everywhere. This is the best thing ever. And I was like, yeah, this is so great. I love it.
It was great.
So great.
It was good. I loved every bit of it. Now, there is a theory that they said about Joker and how this Joker, maybe he's not the Joker that we're used to, and there's a reason for it, which was, maybe you guys have heard of this, the whole Jason Todd theory. Is that possibly he's Jason Todd, the Joker, the one that Joker pretty much beat, pummeled, and then after that to death. But instead, this one takes him, beats him, turns him insane, and makes him a Joker himself. Hence the tattoo that says damaged. There's a bird tattoo. There's a bird tattoo on his arm.
I'm
and a
even
few
more
other
intrigued
things.
I know.
now.
The theory is
very
amazing.
intriguing.
I'm like, oh, that would make so much sense.
That would make so much sense, but I don't know if they're going to go with it.
Do you guys
But that'll be
really
interesting.
feel that he doesn't feel like the Joker? Because for me, I really felt like he's so much closer to what I the Joker
I
to
love
me,
him
like in the comic books.
as an iteration of the Joker. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if Joker remembers himself in different ways at different times, as we found, he definitely said that on the Killing Joke. Why can't we see him as different ways in different
Yeah.
times?
Absolutely.
And that's what made it great. I think it was a good film, and I think his portrayal.
I think
you have to remember,
the essence of the
wasn't-
Joker was there.
It
like,
wasn't a Batman Joker film, so
Yeah.
why should we have
This is a different
breakout? Because
dynamic
everyone
overall.
wanted the breakout moment for Joker. It wasn't Joker's film, so he's not going to get a breakout moment.
It wasn't.
And that's
it's
something
not
I need
about
people to
him.
remember.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
movie wasn't about him. It was about the squad, and his purpose in that movie was solely to serve as a plot device for
Harley.
That's right.
That was the sole purpose of
Amazing.
the movie. That's it. That's
it.
it. If you
Now-
went in that movie just to see the Joker, you went to the wrong movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Period. Get
unfortunately,
over
we have run out of time. We've gone way over.
Oh,
This
man.
is a special
Already?
episode. I know, right? So
That was
good.
so fast.
But we got some points out at least, so
Yeah.
thank
Most
God for
racially
that.
diverse cast movie ever.
Boom! Oh my
Had to
God!
say that. Had to
Gotta
say
say
that.
that. That's very true. I mean, you haven't seen that in comics. This is the most
That's
racially
true.
diverse cast. Even as you said earlier, the extras, people back
Even
there.
the extras.
Oh my
People
God!
of color
So
everywhere.
good. Diablo was dope. Okay, all right. There was so much we wanted to say, but we didn't get to. Unfortunately, we're so sorry for it.
So much to say.
Please let people know where they can find you, Michelle.
I on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I am at MDDivine. That's MDEEDIVINE.
And of course, Lady Di.
You guys can find me at DefecTIVEGeeks.com, and for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, the same thing, Defective Geeks.
All right, perfect. And you can find me here every week, usually on Wednesday, right here for Comics on TV on that hashtag show. Stay tuned to that hashtag show for everything trending in geek pop culture. We got videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week. So pay attention, keep up to date. We'll be making sure we give you as much info as possible. And remember, every great host has an even better sign off. Phenomena.
Manamana.
There you go.